everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com, back once again with another eventful news update from the world of wrestling. We have news of two potential injuries to major main roster WWE superstars. One that's looking like it could be short term, one that's looking like it may be a little bit more long term, unfortunately. Also, we have news of some strange Twitter behaviour, potentially controversial Twitter behaviour, could land them in a bit of hot water maybe, although we certainly hope not, from a particular other main roster superstar as well. So let's get right into it and let's take a look at all of the news. So first and foremost, it was reported in the Wrestling Observer newsletter by Dave Meltzer that apparently Samoa Joe is dealing with an injury right now. That would explain why he's been absent recently from SmackDown television, although there's no word at all really on what sort of injury it is. It's worth noting that Joe is scheduled for some live events over the weekend, so it could be that he's, ready to return right then. It could just be that these are old sort of adverts and that the card is always subject to change and that a replacement could well be in place for Samoa Joe. Now, this is a bit of a strange one because it has been speculated that Joe could be suffering from some sort of head injury or concussion-related symptoms because WWE seem to report all the time on all the injuries that happen on their roster unless it is a sort of head/concussion-related injury, like we've seen recently in the case of Sasha Banks, who was just sort of mysteriously missing for a little while until it emerged that she was dealing with post-concussion symptoms. This could also explain why Joe was apparently sort of written off with a kind of injury after his last confrontation with AJ Styles, although that was like a totally kayfabed injury. It still could have been to write him off television while he deals with whatever real injury he's suffering from, or is reported to be suffering from anyway. Hopefully the speculation that this is just a short-term injury proves to be accurate and we see Joe back on SmackDown television sooner rather than later. After all, he is, in my opinion anyway, one of the most entertaining aspects of WWE's main roster right now, and I just want to see him in a high-level feud once again. And to be honest, no matter how long his injury is, whenever he comes back, I wouldn't be surprised if they did stick him in a big, important program once again, because he is just that good. Moving now from SmackDown over to Raw, where there's news of a potentially longer-term injury, and one that's come at a less convenient time for WWE. So, as reported by various sites over the past sort of day or so, but I think this one also originated from Meltzer, I'm not too positive on that one, Bobby Lashley could be dealing with what is rumoured to be a separated shoulder. Now that would explain why he lost to Finn Balor on Raw, despite apparently being at the beginning of a monster push, a big heel push alongside his new manager, Lio Rush. Now, it was speculated by WrestlingNews.co that if this is indeed a separated shoulder, that Lashley may need to undergo surgery at some point, and if he wants to be ready in time for WrestleMania, he would have to undergo surgery sooner rather than later. So maybe he'll be written out of Raw pretty soon, maybe as soon as this, this next coming episode on Monday night. Maybe he's already just going to be written off and they're just not going to mention it at all. It's a bit strange and I don't really know what to make of it, but at the same time it's worth noting that this is far worse timing than it is for Samoa Joe. Basically, Samoa Joe had just finished his main event title feud, with AJ Styles, so it didn't hurt too much for him to take some time off in the aftermath of that. He didn't win the belt, he didn't need to drop anything, he could just, take a few weeks away and recover from his injury, whereas Bobby Lashley really was gathering steam over on Raw, gathering momentum after turning heel on Kevin Owens. Turning heel on Kevin Owens, and Owens sort of turned babyface and then also got written out with an injury. So it seems to be one of those little patches that we're in right now where WWE are having bad luck with injuries across the board. This must be very frustrating because it did seem, as I said, as though Lashley was in line for some sort of push, maybe even a title shot somewhere down the line. His heel run was going well. Everyone much prefers him as a heel than a babyface. It's much easier to boo him than to cheer him right now. And I just feel quite bad for him because coming back to WWE, he didn't take off as maybe they'd hoped despite trying his best. And then now this has sort of come along. And if it is a separated shoulder and does require surgery, then he could be out for quite a few months. But hopefully it all goes well and he is back in time for WrestleMania. Well, ideally, hopefully it's not a surgery requiring injury and he can just carry on. But regardless, that seems to be why he lost to Balor on Raw. As always, of course, when there are injuries like this, we'd like to wish Samoa Joe and Bobby Lashley a full and speedy recovery. Now, on to strange social media activity, or news of strange social media activity, from a certain Ty Dillinger. We often see this from time to time when superstars maybe feel undervalued or a little bit overlooked by WWE creative. They sometimes take to social media and post often cryptic, often, as in this case, not so cryptic tweets that sort of hint at their dissatisfaction with their current job. So Ty Dillinger recently took to Twitter and posted a tweet that said, "Throwback to when I used to wrestle," and it's a picture of him in a match with Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, this seems to imply that he's not getting booked anymore. And to be honest, we haven't seen him on SmackDown too frequently. It hasn't been the smoothest of transitions from NXT to the main roster for Tye Dillinger. Certainly not on the same level as someone like Elias, who's really caught on with the main roster crowd. That's not to say that Tye isn't popular. Everyone loves his whole 10 gimmick and everything, but at the same time, it seems as though he's not getting booked in any meaningful feuds right now. It seemed for a little while as though he was going to be put into a program with Randy Orton, and then mysteriously, Orton was kind of feuding once again with Jeff Hardy on SmackDown this week. Maybe that's the source of Tye Dillinger's discontent. Who knows? That's not the only strange thing he's been doing on Twitter for a WWE employee anyway. He's also been retweeting the likes of Cody Rhodes, Brandy Rhodes, the Young Bucks quite a lot. And it's sort of, I mean, I'm sure that he might just be friends with those sort of guys outside of the ring, but at the same time, you remember what happened to Jimmy Jacobs? He landed himself in hot water. Yes, that was a selfie with the Bullet Club during their whole invasion of Monday Night Raw. And I don't think what Tye Dillinger's done is anywhere near as egregious as that. But at the same time, it does seem to suggest that he's not too happy at the moment with his current role in WWE. As always, let us know what you think of these stories down in the comments section below, particularly that Tye one. Has he got a right to feel aggrieved, or should he just be patient and wait for a chance? Or will that chance maybe not come unless he does something like this? Often in WWE we see that you don't really get anything unless you take it sometimes. So it's a bit of a strange one. I'm not too sure what to make of it. I'm certainly not saying that Tye should be reprimanded or fired or anything like that, but it's just a bit of a weird one, and I'm interested to know your thoughts on it. But anyway, that's all the news. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. You can follow me on Twitter if you want, at Jack the Jobber. You can follow all of us at Cultaholic, and also, if you want to, you can check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. And never forget, of course, to hit subscribe and to join us.